Welcome to Deco Guide, the only app designed to help you navigate your college and career journey in the quickest and most affordable way. This podcast is brought to you by EdTechity, dedicated to opening doors to higher education and career opportunities for all.
Hey y'all, welcome to our What Would You Do series, where I get to ask professionals unscripted questions about what they would do to overcome obstacles in college and beyond. Today we have Professor G to ask a series of questions. Hey Professor G, so what would you do if you didn't get as many scholarships as you thought you were going to
get? You're asking me. I've never received a scholarship. Ever.
Oh, wow.
In my entire academic career, there was no scholarship, right? And, I'm kind of proud of that, to be honest with you. It's because you can figure out how to do it without, right? I get that a lot, that people applying for scholarships, apply to as many of them as possible. What I found over the years is those merit-based scholarships, want you to do all those extracurricular activities that I just never had the time or money, right, to participate in. And because of that, there was not much I could speak to about, like, say, what else am I doing, right? Extracurricular activities other than work, right? Because I always just worked throughout my entire college career. So that's the first solution. If you're not getting any scholarships, you need to work your butt off, which means a part-time job or 2 or even 3 to make it through. Right? Because if you're not getting scholarships, then you have to pay for this thing, right? Called college. And so the reality is some of us will have 2 or 3 jobs our entire academic career. Okay? Because there is no trust fund, right? Grew up in a neighborhood with 0 cash, right? Parents are working their butts off, but because of cost of living, because of other brothers and sisters, because of it's not enough, right, to be able to then send your kid, like, very well packaged away. Yeah, that isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? And so the majority of our families, I would say 90%, that's the situation they're in, is that there is not enough money to get them through. So I hate to say it, you're going to have a job. You're going to have 2 jobs. You might even have 3 jobs while you're balancing all your classes, your personal life, your work life, and all at the same time for years, right? So those of you who make it through college, having a job or 2 and balancing it all out, man, I commend you, because you're just like I was. It's like, hey, there's not enough out there, and I'm not about to beg you for money, so I might as well work my butt off for it, right? And that's what I did. I was a janitor at Food for Less, Smart and Final. I did landscaping. I did like little part-time gigs, kind of helping, like counseling and watching over kids. Whatever it took for me to make a couple extra bucks so that I could pay for my schooling. Now, first things first, financial aid, right? You got to apply for financial aid, whether you're applying using the FAFSA or you're applying using the California Dream Act for undocumented students. You have to apply because that's the free money. Right? That has nothing to do with the personal statement, has nothing to do with your GPA. It has to do with your family size and income. Apply to those. Me, I was a C student, right? That's it. So I wasn't going to get A's 4.0. Whenever it said 4.0, I said, forget it. I don't have time to do 4.0. You're lucky if I'm going to get you a 2.0, right? So again, those scholarships, none of them. Right? Because again, scholarships are like merit-based, and all of them have a GPA requirement. I swear that when I build a scholarship foundation, the GPA requirement will be 2.0 to 2.5. And if you're above that, you don't need my money. Keep it to the point of those people like me that, there's no way I'm going to get A's in classes because of my life, not because of my intelligence. It's my life, right? It just doesn't allow for that. So merit-based scholarships, apply to them, but don't rely on them. Apply to them, but don't rely on them. Assume they're going to tell you no, so that you're preparing financially for the cost of you taking classes, buying books, living as a student, etc. So apply for financial aid, California Dream Act, federal financial aid, etc. At the end of the day, if you still need more money, that's where some of the financial aid programs offer student loans. Now, I'm not a big advocate of student loans. I have student loans, right? I had to take out student loans or else I would have dropped out of college. That's the only time you should pull a student loan, when you finally did everything you could, through working, through applying for financial aid, through trying to apply for some scholarships and probably not getting most of them, right? Once you get to that point where it's either I pull a loan or I drop out of college, pull the loan. Okay, that's the only time I tell families to pull that loan, because it's going to make a difference when that person gets that bachelor's degree, right? When that person finishes the certification, finishes the associate's degree, it changes your income, changes everything. And so what I want you to understand is try to do it for free through merit-based scholarships. Keep applying. But again, I would expect, like myself, I knew I wasn't going to get any, because again, my GPA, what they were asking for, but I would still apply. Okay. I encourage you to do that. Apply anyways, because you never know. Second thing, apply for all the federal financial aid, state financial aid through California Dream Act or FAFSA. Collect all of that money they offer you, right? If you're low income, they're going to offer you some kind of grant. Take it and then continue to apply every year so that they keep offering you that same kind of grant to pay off some of that, tuition fees, some of those book fees, etc. And then at the end of the day, I hate to say it, most of us that grew up low income, we got to have 1 to 2 jobs. And that's just the reality. I'm not going to tell you financial aid is going to pay for anything, because it's not. The system's rigged. It's not going to pay for anything. It'll pay for 30% of it. The rest, it's on you or your family. And so that's where, these other things come into play, like a student loan, like your, a part-time job or 2, to ensure that you finish your education.
This is very helpful, Professor J. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning into Techo Guide, the app focused on bringing you tools and content to help you make better decisions about school, life, and career. We hope this episode has inspired you to pursue and excel in your own educational and career journey. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share.